In the quiet valleys of Switzerland, where old stone buildings are scattered across the mountains, there is an abandoned hut with a surprising secret. What began as a simple visit to look at the property turned into a shocking discovery that changed the peaceful village of Lino and the life of an eager architect. Adrian walked through the soft grass in the quiet valley, heading toward an old stone building. His real estate agent had called in sick, so he decided to check out the property by himself. The morning sun cast long shadows on the worn walls. He stopped on the path to enjoy the view of the small village of Lino, where the stone houses were close together like old friends. As an architect, Adrian was fascinated by the buildings in this area and had spent weeks studying their unique designs before coming. Now, he stood in front of an old chestnut drying hut built 200 years ago. The building was simple but smartly designed. It had a deep cellar carved into the mountain, a plain living area above it, and a charming loft that opened onto a lovely covered porch. The real estate listing said no one had been in this place for 50 years. As an architect who specialized in renovating historic buildings, he admired the skill it took to create something that could last for centuries. The wooden structure, built in a traditional log cabin style, reflected the region's architectural history. He could already imagine how he might change this space while keeping its original character. But when he reached for the rusty door handle, he noticed something unusual. Fresh scratch marks were visible on the old wood around the lock, and thin strands that looked like wire were hanging from the keyhole. Adrian's heart raced as he realized someone had recently tried to pick this lock. He should have turned back and called the police right away. Any sensible person would have. But curiosity got the better of him. It always did. That's what had made him one of Zurich's most innovative architects and pushed him forward now, deeper into what would become the most terrifying moment of his life. The door creaked open with surprising ease, releasing a wave of musty air that made Adrian cough. He pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight, the beam slicing through the darkness. What he saw didn't match the real estate photos at all. Those had shown an ordinary hut, an empty space with bare stone walls and rotting wooden beams, just what you'd expect from a building abandoned for 50 years. But now the scene in front of him was completely different, something that made his architect's eyes widen in disbelief. The basement level, which extended deep into the hillside, had been transformed into what looked like a professional workshop. Industrial-grade printing equipment lined the walls, their sleek modern surfaces jarring against the ancient stonework. Stacks of paper-filled wooden crates and half-finished Swiss francs lay scattered across metal tables. A section of the stone wall caught Adrian's attention. While it might have gone unnoticed by others, his years of studying historic masonry revealed a perfect, regular pattern. As he approached, he noticed a hairline crack running straight from floor to ceiling. Trembling, he traced the edge of what turned out to be a concealed door. His eyes widened in disbelief when his flashlight revealed stacks of counterfeit money and printing plates behind the wall. The scale of the operation sent chills down his spine, and he screamed in shock, nearly dropping his phone. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed from above. Without thinking, Adrian ran through the back door, slipping on the damp grass as he sprinted down the hillside. His hand shook as he dialed emergency services. "Police, please. You need to come quickly," he breathed. "I'm in Lino, near the old stone hut on the eastern edge of the village. There's a counterfeiting operation, and I think there's more. Please hurry." He provided more detailed directions, knowing how crucial it was for help to arrive quickly. The next 15 minutes felt like hours as Adrian huddled behind a large boulder halfway down the hillside, his heart pounding. From his hiding place, Adrian watched as another man arrived at the hut, carrying what looked like sophisticated computer equipment. Adrian's mind raced. This was bigger than just counterfeiting. These people were involved in cybercrime too, using the remote location and historic building as cover for a sophisticated criminal enterprise. The police response was meticulously planned. Within minutes of Adrian's call, special forces teams had positioned themselves around all connected buildings, using the terrain to their advantage. Local officers from Lino, familiar with every inch of the valley, guided the tactical teams through the mountain paths, ensuring complete coverage of all possible escape routes. When the police finally acted, their response was quick and quiet. Special forces surrounded the building, using the natural sounds of the mountain valley to mask their approach. By the end of the operation, 3 men were arrested, but what they found behind the hidden door revealed a much larger criminal operation. A nearly 100-meter tunnel connected to 2 other abandoned properties, each housing different parts of the operation. One contained advanced computer systems linked to international cybercrime, while the other stored luxury goods suspected to be counterfeit or stolen. As forensics teams worked through the complex, the suspects were let out in handcuffs and loaded into armored police vehicles waiting nearby. The lead investigator later told Adrian, "This is one of the most sophisticated operations we've seen. They chose these buildings for their remote location and historic protection laws that allowed them to operate under the radar. Without your discovery, they might have continued for years." The investigation revealed a criminal network that had been operating undetected for nearly a decade. The criminals had specifically targeted Lino due to its position near the Italian border and its reputation for preserving historical architecture without too much modernization, a perfect cover for their operations. As the investigation progressed, Adrian found himself in an unexpected role. His architectural skills became crucial to the authorities as they mapped out modified buildings and hidden passages. What began as a frightening discovery turned into a chance to help dismantle a major criminal organization. After the investigation, Adrian surprised everyone by deciding to buy the property at a lower price, seeing potential where others saw a tainted building. He aimed to transform it into something beautiful and write a new chapter in its history. Working with local authorities and preservation experts, Adrian created a renovation plan that preserved the building's historic exterior while dramatically updating the interior. He collaborated with local craftsmen to learn traditional building techniques, incorporating elements of the past into his modern design. The team poured a concrete shell through the open roof, blending ancient and modern materials. Large folding shutters were added to let in natural light while keeping the historic look. The basement, once a site of crime, became a cozy living space with a minimalist fireplace. The timber extension was transformed into a sleek kitchen and luxurious bathroom, featuring a modern cast concrete tub that harmonized with the ancient structure. Adrian took special care to preserve elements of the building's long history. The soot-covered roof timbers in the bathroom, remnants from centuries of chestnut drying, were carefully restored and integrated into the design. Even the tunnel, once used for illegal activities, was left visible behind clear panels. This preserved piece serves as both a historical reminder and a cautionary tale. The transformation caught the attention of architectural magazines and design enthusiasts across Europe. What began as a notorious crime scene became celebrated as a masterpiece of adaptive reuse. The project, now known as Casa Vistat, demonstrates how thoughtful design can bridge centuries and transform even the darkest spaces into places of light and beauty. The transformation of the hut inspired the entire village of Lino. Other property owners in the village began looking at their historic buildings with fresh eyes, seeing potential where they had only seen decay before. The local council, inspired by Adrian's project, developed new guidelines for historic renovation that balance preservation with modern use, making it easier for others to undertake similar projects while maintaining the village's authentic character. Today, the house stands as a symbol of transformation and redemption, deeply connected to Lino's history. In the summer, the once-abandoned hut is filled with laughter as Adrian hosts friends, fellow architects, and curious locals eager to learn about its dark past and bright present. The dismantling of the criminal network led to increased scrutiny of abandoned properties, making Lino and the surrounding region safer. Local residents who once hurried past now admire the hut's transformation. School groups visit to learn about architecture, history, and the importance of vigilance. Adrian installed a plaque that reads, "Every building tells a story." Some chapters may be dark, but there's always room for renewal, highlighting the building's complex history. The story of the Lino hut shows that appearances can be deceiving and that extraordinary discoveries can be found in ordinary places. Adrian still gets asked if he ever regretted not turning back when he first noticed the suspicious lock. His answer is always the same. Sometimes the scariest moments in life lead to the most amazing opportunities. You just have to be brave enough to face them, smart enough to call for help when needed, and creative enough to imagine a better future. The experience changed Adrian's view on architecture for good. He started focusing on renovating historic buildings in the Swiss Alps, always trying to keep their original character while making them suitable for modern use. His work in Lino became a model for similar projects in the area, showing how old buildings could be brought back to life without losing their essence. The hut in Lino is now a strong symbol of change and renewal, showing that even places with dark pasts can be transformed with vision, courage, and creativity. Visitors to Lino often want to see the famous hut, and locals proudly share its story, a tale of crime, bravery, and change that has become part of the village's identity. The building connects the past and present, tradition and innovation, and the dark possibilities and bright futures that exist in every space. It reminds us that sometimes the most amazing stories start with a simple choice to take a closer look at something that seems off. What would you do if you discovered something suspicious in an old building? Would you quickly call the cops like Adrian did? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.